Welcome back to the Horn Takes podcast. I am Sean Redfern, and I have no idea why this is blue on the bottom of my screen. Do you see that that's blue, Michelle?
Yes, it's very bright blue, but
I don't know what in the world is going on here. We'll get this fixed, but I'm Sean Redfern, your host. Joining me tonight from the cheap seats, Michelle Lynn, as always. How are we doing, Michelle?
doing all right. Maybe it's blue because, Texas
It's
vibes
so
are a little
blue. Yeah, I
down.
don't know.
Yeah, we're all a little down bad right now. So,
Yeah, I honestly have no idea what is going on with that, but I don't know. I'll keep messing around with it, trying to figure it out. Before we get into it tonight, guys, we're going to talk a lot about Texas football. We've got Steve Sarkisian flying to the NFL rumors. We've got college football playoff drama. We've got all kinds of stuff this week with Texas football. But before we do that, let's talk about our friend Chinook Seedery. Greatest seeds ever, 8 great flavors. You guys get on over there to ChinookSeedery.com. Use our promo code HornTakes. You get 10% off your first order. Michelle, let's talk about while I try to figure out why all this stuff is blue all of a sudden. I have no idea. Like, I've never seen this happen before once in my life, but a whole lot of rumors this week about Steve Sarkisian again have popped up.
Mhm.
About him not being at Texas after this season. I mean, we can go down the list of things. There was the Atlantic rumor, then there was kind of something I've noticed recently, at least this year, his demeanor in press conferences has seemed just kind of off. Like it just seems like something else is going on with Steve Sarkisian. I don't know if it's I'm leaving Texas, but it doesn't seem like the same Steve Sarkisian. And then yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, maybe the day before, the Desmond Howard IG post just goes freaking viral about him saying Texas and Steve Sarkisian are going to part ways at the end of this year. Before today, let's just talk about that. What were your thoughts heading into today about all of that mess?
I'll say today didn't change my thoughts on all that mess. But going back to all of the rumors, I noticed that both the Diana Rossini story that came out in October and the Des Howard video that came out the other day, they both followed a very similar pattern in terms of how they were dispersed into the universe. So for Diana Rossini, she put it at the very bottom of her report. And that report came out on Friday. I believe it was like Friday late afternoon. And then hours later, Saturday morning, she then does the solo separate tweet of it to Twitter, which has a much larger audience because obviously The Athletic is a paid subscription thing. So it's not going to reach the masses that way. So it was like, do a little nugget at the very end, tucked away, and then later circle back and get it the max exposure. And the Des Howard video, again, I've got my tinfoil hat on, my investigative journalism things. The Des Howard video release was very similar. He put it on his Instagram and it was just kind of tucked away in it. And he's like, just my thoughts, And so, not that many people in like Instagram is a good, has big followings in the sporting community, but like Twitter is where you go for sport fan eyeballs. So it was on Instagram for a few hours. Then a couple hours later, it then gets the solo tweet. It was like the same pattern. Then I noticed in Diana Rossini's article, she specifically highlighted the Tennessee Titans. If you are a Taylor Swift fan, I'm not necessarily a fan, but I am a fan of pop culture. Therefore, I follow her, her marketing and all that. She drops little Easter eggs in her videos. A lot of people were commenting how Des Howard had tennis balls, and he really made an emphasis to point out tennis balls, and people are like, Tennessee, and they kind of lose me with that. I'm like, guys, that's a stretch. But at the same time, it was very weird. It was very peculiar. I don't know that it would necessarily even be Sark like wanting that info out. I don't know if it's just his agency, and I know his agency put out a statement saying this is baloney, but I don't know. It's really weird because Des Howard is at the same agency as Sark. They're both part of CAA.
That was what was so weird about it
Yeah.
was Desmond
So,
Howard, was he just like drunk and just walking around his property in South
right.
Miami or South Florida and just said, I'm going to just drop something to get some views? I mean, it's
It makes
really
no sense.
like all of the circumstances around this whole thing are just really weird to me. And
Mhm.
I'm not like a tinfoil hat guy 100% at all, but it is kind of weird that there's all this smoke and all this stuff about, you know, Steve Sarkisian possibly wanting to entertain the NFL. I even saw some crazy stuff about Steve Sarkisian to LSU. I mean, there's just like, and I mean, you got to
Yeah,
take everything with a grain of salt. Even, I
totally.
mean, on even the best media outlets, like
Right.
it's all about clicks today. Like, let's be honest,
For
people are
sure.
trying to get clicks. But I, you know, with the Atlantic rumor, I was kind of like, this is bull crap. And then it came out that,
Right.
you know, it was really just an article about a bunch of things, and they kind of highlighted this specific headline that was way buried at the bottom of the
Right.
article, which even made it seem even more like bull crap. And then there
Mhm.
was the whole interview on whatever podcast where, you know, Lebitard's podcast where
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
like she couldn't even look at the camera because she was so full of shit. Like, I mean, it
Mhm.
was
It was
like
weird.
pretty obvious that she just threw a nugget out there to get some clicks. But then I started like noticing just the last few weeks the way Sark has seemed in his press conferences, and I was
Mhm.
kind of like, well, that's not like the normal Sark, right? Like that's not the Sark we got in 2022 and 2023 and 2024. So it
Mhm.
kind of grew on me a little bit, like the whole like idea of the whole thing. And then with the Desmond IG post, it's so wild that you're like, he's not gonna, surely Desmond Howard, a guy that's on game day, and he's not a journalist. Like, let's be fair.
Right.
He's a personality on game day, but surely he's not gonna throw just some random shit out there, right?
Right.
And so if you put all those things together, I got to admit, like before today, when Sark went on the SEC media call and just freaking went scorched earth, basically,
Mhm.
like not really scorched earth, but like
Right.
you just don't hear coaches talk like that a lot.
Mhm.
Usually it's like a one line, I'm focused on this season, or, you know, me and this team are trying to do better things. It's not like
Mhm.
a freaking 2 or 3 paragraph speech about why you want to be at Texas and why you're not leaving Texas and all those things. I was kind of thinking like this seems weird. Like not that I thought it would happen, but just like, man, maybe there is something to all this.
Mhm.
But I thought today when he came out and just was like, listen, I need to address this. I don't normally want to address this. Either he poured a lot of BS into today just to try to get through the next 2 games without just an absolute collapse,
Mhm.
or there's something to the fact that like he's really not leaving Texas is kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah. I think it could be honestly just like a combination of things. I mean, I doubt Sark wants to leave Texas. I doubt Texas wants him to leave.
Yeah.
But
That's the
there's
part
like,
of all of this that was weird to me was like, where
right,
is this coming from? Like,
right.
there's not that many better. I mean, you can debate all day long about which are the best jobs, which are
Mhm.
not the best jobs, but Texas certainly in any debate is a top 5
Mhm.
college football job. Like
Yeah,
there's not many better jobs, right?
right.
And I don't think any of the ones that are open are the better jobs
Me
at this
neither.
point.
And that's why it's just so strange because someone is putting this information out. And the fact that Des doubled down and, has the same agency, I'm like, who is telling these people to do this? Is this just a Jimmy Sexton, chaos
Yeah.
here, which
Yeah.
that would make sense? I don't know. But at the end of the day, though, I I follow the NFL really closely. I love the NFL and everything. And the coaching candidate pool in the NFL this year is really low. And most teams prefer, just with the way that the rules have changed in the game, things like that, they really want to have, an offensive minded head coach to pair with their new quarterback. And there's not that many offensive oriented guys who are sort of in the mix, except for maybe like a Mike McCarthy, who, I mean, like, is that the best you got? So I could see why, Sark would get a lot of interest because he's a program builder. He's got his little scheme that's very similar to the Shanahan, Mike McDaniel scheme that's very attractive in the NFL. His pro style offense, it's hard for college kids to pick up. So that's why a lot of freshmen don't see the field, but it's obviously match made in heaven in terms of the NFL. And so I know that a lot of Texas fans this season have been like, our team sucks. Why would the NFL want him? I'm like, trust me, there's a lot of teams that will want him because there's not that many offensive candidates out there since they were all hired last cycle. And there's, of course, like a lot of defensive guys that are great. Somebody from Sean McVay's staff always gets poached. But I'm just like, when I'm looking at the teams that I know have already fired their coach, the Giants and the Titans, with the Titans being one that has been mentioned at least once in the articles. Both of them have rookie quarterbacks. Both of them need a new culture. I'm like, I would want to interview Sark. Like, I would want him. And why would you not try to attract him by saying it's a better work-life balance? It's, there's actual structure and regulations in the NFL. There's a salary cap. There's no recruiting. There's a personnel department. And I know that Sark likes to be involved in the personnel, but like, there's just more structure of it in the NFL. So maybe he wouldn't be wanting that as much. But in the NFL, it's very coveted for you to be a play caller. Whereas in college, it's like, put that down. You need to focus on X, Y, Z. So that to me is why, like, I could see it being NFL teams putting all this out there because they're like, dude, we'll interview you, if you've got a newborn baby, XYZ. But at the same time, like, I have no idea because, like, I'm just a fan. I'm just watching from my couch. So
the other thing to me though is like, unfortunately, and maybe fortunately, I don't know. I don't want to like bag on money and bag on capitalism, but like, he makes a shit ton of money at Texas. He makes way more money at Texas than he would make at a lot of NFL jobs being the 100%. Head coach.
It'd be a pay cut.
Yeah. So I mean, you look at it from that perspective. I mean, honestly, just being real, I don't know what to think at this point. Like, there's been just so much different things. I thought it was unprecedented that a firm like that came out and just 100% shot down rumors. We've never seen that before. I don't think we've really seen a coach address that type of situation in the way that Sark addressed that type of situation today, with such a lengthy, just like, hey, I know we're here to talk about the next weekend's games, but I've got to say these things because this shit is starting to become a distraction for my team.
Right.
And in the college game, you're talking about recruiting. There's like a whole lot of reasons why you would want to come out. I look at Lane Kiffin and that whole deal. It's like the exact opposite.
I know.
It's a complete fucking circus.
It's a mess.
And like to the point where the report is that Ole Miss is like telling Lane, dude, you got to pick something. We don't care what it is necessarily, but pick something by this weekend or there's going to be consequences, was kind of the report I saw. So how real that is, I don't know. How much of that is just like blowing smoke, I don't know. But I did think it was very interesting the way Sark handled that presser today. But again, there's still all this like sort of smoke that you can't ignore almost on the other side of it. So I think like, man, if you're a Texas, I don't know a legitimate Texas fan. And let me qualify that by saying someone that understands sports, not just like is a Texas fan, would want Sarkisian to leave Texas at this point. Like, we've all talked about like things that Sark could be better at, and maybe he needs to give up the play calling, and maybe he needs to, do this or that. But that doesn't mean we want Sarkisian to leave Texas. Like, he's been great at Texas. He's really turned around the culture. There's been a huge amount of positive things that have happened at the University of Texas football program since Sarkisian got here a few years ago. So if you're one of those like, oh, I'm sick of Sark, he's got to leave. Well, first of all, you're an idiot. Second of all, I think you're like in the very, very small minority of idiots.
Mhm.
And so like, there's not a lot of people like that. So I don't want Sark to leave. So like, this is like tumultuous to me. Like, I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, not just the fact that Sark might leave is a thing, but like, who do you go get? The pool right now is ass. The only legitimate good candidate, in my opinion, is Franklin, and he's locked in at Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not a lot of good candidates out there at this point that are 100% available. Like, I think Texas could probably go poach some guys,
right?
But it's just a really, I don't know, like, these last 2 years of college football, like, from a coaching perspective, have just been absolutely wild to me.
Yeah.
And this year especially, like, I don't think we've ever seen this many coaches fired in the middle of a season in college football ever.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm off on that, but it's been completely nuts. So at this point, all I can do, and I think all any of us can do, is trust what he said in the press conference today, and hope that that's true.
Right.
And then hope we see maybe some changes in the offseason and in personnel from a coaching perspective. I don't know what the problem is. Well, I think we all agree there's something not right this year.
Yeah.
I don't know that we all have an idea of what that is, but something needs to change, right? Because this hasn't been a super, successful year for Texas. So I think we'll leave it at that and just say we have to kind of trust that he's being honest, that he's not doing any of that stuff, and everybody else is putting stuff out there for clicks. But again, man, that's just the flip side of that. Is just, that's so weird because you just don't see that.
Yeah, I have my head on a swivel. I am not believing anything that anyone says because
that's fair. I only trust myself, right?
I trust me, and my gut tells me that something's going on here. I just don't know what it is. And so I'm just going to leave it at that, because there have been plenty of coaches that come out emphatically deny leaving.
And
then a day later, they're gone. Our baseball coach, example number one, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think any of them have ever been, like you said, Sark's statement, it was long. And
it was lengthy.
It was long. Normally they're not like that. But again, I'm like, I'm not going to be naive here though. Like, things always change. And again, it's like, I just don't know. Something is weird here though. So I'm head on a swivel. I'm just going to file it away, and I'm going to be cheering for us against Arkansas this weekend.
That's perfect. I think that's the greatest perspective you could possibly have. Like, my gut is telling me there's something weird going on. I can't put a finger on it. So all I'm going to do is just keep living my life. And I'm going to keep rooting for Texas. Michelle and I suggest we all just keep rooting for Texas.
Yes.
And whatever happens may happen. And we hope it's just positive for Texas. So jump in the chat with us tonight. If you're watching, jump in the chat, leave us your questions, comment. What do you think is going on with this whole Sarkisian to the NFL? I mean, just some odd, crazy, weird ways to put information out there in the last few weeks about Sark. So join us, talk to us. We'd love to highlight your comments, talk about them, questions, whatever. Let's talk about these college football playoff rankings, Michelle. Texas down to 17 after, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can look at the game this weekend. You can 100% say it was a 14-10 game headed into the fourth quarter, and that is not a lie. You can also say Texas got thumped, and that is not a lie, because they gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter for the second straight game. So Texas drops to 17. It is what it looks like to me. They're on the outside looking in. Even if they manage to win the next two games, it looks to me like Texas is on the outside looking in. A lot of Texas fans are having a tough time dealing with that.
Oh yeah.
And the question of the last 2 days has been, should Texas consider dropping tough out of conference games? Michelle, I've seen your thoughts on it, but I want everybody to hear them. Talk to us about your thoughts on these sort of tough out of conference matchups. Should we play them? Should we dump them because we're in the SEC and we're probably already playing a lot of great teams anyway? Give us your thoughts.
Yeah. So I think, I'm against us like canceling future. No, the schedule is the schedule. Like we signed up for it, win. You got to win the games.
Yeah.
At the same time, I do think that there's something to be said for as we're setting the schedule in the future to keep in mind, okay, there's 9 SEC conference games. Is it really necessary to go play at the defending national champions house? Or maybe we could get like a Nebraska, who's still a really good team, right? But and kind of an old rivalry, but it's just like a little bit of a different level, would still be viewed as like a strong game. Like, I just think there's a bit of a balance we can find there. And it made sense to me for sure when we were in the Big 12, because we didn't get that many marquee games. So
right.
Of course you have to go and get a little creative with your out of conference schedule. And again, like I enjoy those games too. So like if we do keep them, I'm okay with that. But I'm also very understanding of the fact that there's no shame in reevaluating how we do those. I'm not saying let's schedule like a junior college or whatever, but I just think that there's some nuance to it, and it just might not make sense anymore to be trying to prove our toughness to everyone. It's like, dude, you're going to probably be playing Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, and 1 or 2 others who are going to be in like the top 15 at one point in a season. And that's not including other teams that could be within the top 25. And that's just your conference schedule.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah. I think to me, like the problem with the whole out of conference thing is like those games are scheduled so far in advance anyway. Like, I mean, we literally schedule games like 7, 8, 9 years in advance, these out of conference games.
Right.
So it's almost like you don't really know where they're going to be. A perfect example of that is Michigan last year. Like, I mean, Michigan had probably their worst down year in a long time last year when we had to go on the road and play Michigan. And granted, they were coming off a playoff berth. They were coming off a national championship game berth. But that program at that time wasn't where it normally is.
Right.
And so I just, man, and the other thing, and I've been talking, I mean, you've probably seen it today. I've been engaged with Twitter like a lot today about this whole idea that Texas is in the shape they're in today because they played Ohio State in week 1. I just don't think – I think if anything, Texas is seen as a better team. They're getting more benefit of the doubt because they did go on the road and play defending national champions, and they played a close game. It wasn't pretty. We all know that. It wasn't like the best offensive effort by Texas, but team-wise, it was 14-7. They walked out of freaking the shoe, and they didn't get a win. But they played a tough team close in a tough game. And I don't think they dropped 6 spots after that. The big plummet did not happen in the polls until they lost to Florida, and they dropped 18 spots.
Yep.
Completely out of the top 25 after they lost to Florida. And all these guys and gals that keep saying, oh, we shouldn't have played that game. That's why we're where we're at. No. We're where we're at because we didn't beat teams we should have beat. Nobody, even though Texas was favored, nobody was going to say boo because Texas went to Ohio State and lost that game.
Right.
Nobody's going to say boo if you go into Athens and you lose that game close. Like if that game in Athens ends 14-10, we're not the 17th ranked team right now. We're going to drop a little bit because we lost a game.
Right.
But we're not going to drop 7 spots because we lost that game. We got our ass kicked, like scoreboard wise. Now, whether you can debate whether it was truly that bad or it just got away from us, I don't none of that matters really to me, but this whole idea that playing that game, and if you could just magically switch it out to some Division I AA school and you'd be in a better position right now just doesn't resonate with me. Because I just don't think it's true. And in fact, I think it's literally the opposite. If you had went and beat a Division I AA team and did the same things you've done all year, the committee's going to look at you worse. Because I think we do get credit for going to Ohio State and playing a close game.
I mean, I kind of see what people are saying, that if we're what would we be right now? Whatever record
we would be 8-2 right now versus 7-3.
But I think I do kind of agree with you, though, that we might still be on the outside looking in. Maybe we're not quite on the outside looking in, but like it would be playing a factor, because clearly what the committee has shown is that the eye test matters, and our team has not passed the eye test many times this season.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Only a couple. So
yeah, so when you narrow it down, when you boil it down to just losing to Ohio State in week 1, you're ignoring a lot. What are we at? You're ignoring 9 other games that have happened in which Texas has not looked good in any of them, really, except for, I guess you could say they look good against Oklahoma. Like, they came out against a team that nobody thought, a lot of people thought, I'll just say that.
Yeah.
They didn't have a chance against. Like, most people thought Oklahoma was going to win that game. And Texas, for the most part, controlled that game from the second half on, like, for sure. I think they were down at half. Maybe they were up a little. I don't remember the exact details, but they definitely took the game over in the second half and won the game comfortably, right?
Yeah.
But that's it. Everything else has been, lack of a better term, a struggle for this Texas team.
Right. It's been even inconsistent from like quarter to quarter. You know, we haven't put together a single game except for maybe, what was the last non-conference game, like San Jose State or something like that?
Yeah,
One of those teams. That was the only game where from quarter 1 through quarter 4, we played well. The only game. Every other game you can pick out, oh, it was a slow start, or oh my gosh, we didn't finish well in the fourth quarter, or like, oh my gosh, what was that middle, second and third quarter stretch? There have been just so few games where it's like, oh, good game overall.
It really hasn't happened.
So yeah, this is just a very weird team. Again, though, like, my views are, I think I'm open to, like, we can reassess how we schedule those. But again, it's like, I don't know that it really helps this team, because who's to say we don't still lose to whoever we're scheduled to?
Exactly. I saw somebody, I won't name any names, but I saw somebody post about if they would have played Baylor.
We would lose to Baylor.
We might lose to Baylor. And
I hate that school, so I would die. Thank God.
I mean, we almost lost to Kentucky. We almost lost to Mississippi State. What is the guarantee that we don't almost, or maybe even lose the game to a Baylor?
Yeah.
That's my whole thing, is like, and then even if, let's say you do win the game, right? And you are 8-2. And then, like, the other thing that people are completely forgetting, Michelle, is we have 2 more games.
I know.
We have 2 more games. And to me,
they're both gimmies.
They're losable games. Like, if you're Texas, they are losable games. Just based off of what we've seen this team do for freaking 10 games, they're losable games. And so I think, like, too many Texas fans are caught up in this idea of making the 12-team playoff. Like, they see making the 12-team playoff as a goal. And to me, that's not a goal. That's not the goal. The goal is to build the program, build the team to the point where you can actually get to the 12-team playoff and then win the 12-team playoff. Because I've said this. I said this the second they announced that they were going to 12 teams. That's too many teams. There are 4 to 6 teams every year that legitimately have a chance to win a national championship. And that's it. So over half the field that's going to go into the playoff this year has odds-wise, they're going to have a chance. But let's be fair. they almost have 0% chance of actually winning the whole thing, because you've got to win 3 or 4 straight weeks against some of the best teams in the country. And there's not that many teams that are built to go do that. No. So if I'm sitting here, like, why am I pleading to get into that, knowing that my program, my team at this point, based on what they've done, they're one of those teams that's not in that 4 to 6. So is that like markedly better to make that playoff and say, oh, we made this 12-team playoff? To me, a diluted 12-team playoff, is that markedly better than like making some freaking Cheez-It Bowl and winning that? To me, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think from a marketing perspective of the recruits, you get to say we made the playoffs 3 years in a row. Even if I think we would get our doors blown off, you know. Fair. But you still get, that is a huge thing that they were flexing all off season and all in the fall. This program is the only back-to-back semifinal team with yada, yada, you know. That was the recruiting pitch. And so I think that honestly it does, just from a again, marketing perspective, it goes a long way to just make the dance. I think for Tennessee, it was probably viewed, even though they got their doors blown off to Ohio State, they probably got to say, well, we lost to the national champion, and they still get to check that box of we made the playoff, Yeah.
By the way, folks, Michelle is a marketing person. So she knows a little bit about marketing. So like, I will trust what you say about that. And I can see that. I can totally see that.
Right. It's all how you paint the picture. And I think it would paint a better picture. And I think that's why so badly people are like, we just need to make it. We just need to make it. Even though our preseason expectations were, if we make, not just make the playoffs, make semifinals or better.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, we just all know, can we just make the dance so that we can keep saying we're the only team to make it, this
No, I can dig it from that perspective, but I wonder, is that just being a homer a little bit, Michelle? Totally. Because nobody had the same energy last year for Bama and Ole Miss, who were both 3-loss teams. I know I didn't. I was like, no, they're 3-loss freaking teams. They don't deserve to be in the playoff. I don't care who they beat. They lost games they shouldn't have lost, and they don't deserve to go be in ahead of some of these other teams. Mm-hmm. And so, to me, I've got to keep it real to me. And I got to say, the same thing for this Texas team. It's great that they've got some good wins this year. Mm-hmm. They've got some really bad losses, and they've got some close games that shouldn't have been close games. Mm-hmm. I legitimately feel like if Texas somehow manages to win the next 2 games, and they're sitting at 9-3, and if they are, the bell will be beating in the media for this Texas team to get in. I don't know that they will get in, but you will have 100% backing from ESPN for this Texas team to somehow get in. Mm-hmm. I just don't think they can win a game if they get in. And I don't know. To me, I don't know that getting in and getting beat immediately is that much better than going and winning the freaking Pop-Tart Bowl and getting to eat the Pop-Tarts that come out of the. I just don't. I don't know. I could be wrong. Yeah. I'm not perfect. But man, it just seems like it's a lot of homerism going on amongst the Texas fans, and they're looking at it, and maybe this is fair, but they're looking at it very selfishly. They're not looking at it like they would look at other teams that were in this exact same position.
Yeah, I think it's being discussed amongst Texas fans the same way Alabama fans were discussing it last year, and similarly to that Alabama team. They dropped that inexplicable game at OU.
Yeah,
that was kind of our Florida. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
100%.
And
100%.
and of course, like, everybody just copes differently. And at that point, it's like their coach's first year, like they're just not used to not being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now, as Texas fans, even though we're sort of new to the party,
Yeah.
we've grown accustomed to
Yeah.
back-to-back years
No, I get it.
like they've been putting out there. So I mean, I definitely understand it. And for me, like I would be happy if we made it. But yeah, again, like I just don't see it happening. And I
Yeah.
don't see us even winning 9 games. I think that's gonna be like
Yeah. I honestly think all
naive.
this is a moot point because
Mhm. Yeah.
I will be incredibly shocked if this Texas
Mhm.
team figures out a way to win the next 2 games.
It would be very impressive by
Yes, it
Coach
would be.
Steve
It really
Sarkisian.
would. And that's why I say
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
this Texas team can figure out a way to get to 9-3,
Mhm.
the freaking bell, the gong, whatever you call it,
Right.
is going to be banging for this Texas team in the media to get into the playoff.
Right.
Uh,
And to me, I think that they can still, like, let's say we get to 9-3, but because of how the polls are kind of situated right now, we would probably, like we've been saying, knock it in. I do think you can still paint that picture of, wow, a down season at the University of Texas is winning
yeah,
9 games and being the second team out of the playoffs.
yeah.
Like there's still such a way that you can spin it.
We'd be the highest
And
ranked 3-loss team in the country for sure.
right.
We are
And
right now.
and they would have the portal advantage in terms of not going to the playoffs means like you are already getting the guys you need. I remember certain teams were definitely ahead of us during that
Yeah,
season.
absolutely.
That point of the season, fair or not, that's just how it goes. So like it could be, I want us to make the playoffs. I want us to win the national championship.
Yeah.
It might be helpful for us where this team is at though, to have a little extra time restocking in the portal because I think there's a lot of needs based off people who will be graduating, people who might be entering the portal, things like that. Like we got to take advantage of Arch's potential last year. He has shown so much growth. Like I don't want to waste another one of his years,
Right.
So it could be helpful to us. And I think there's still a way you can very positively spin a 9-3 season. An 8-4 season is a little harder just because we give our rivals such a hard time.
Yeah.
Being 8-4, 7-5 is really not good. But there's people who are even better than me at marketing who would know how to do the creative spin. There's always a positive spin to things,
Yeah, you can. I mean, and they say in the business, like, what is it? No publicity is bad publicity, something along those lines. Like, as long as your name's out there, you're doing good, type of thing.
Right.
I don't know. We'll put a bow on that one. Like, it's just it's an unfortunate situation. But honestly, to me, like, if you're pinning it all on the Ohio State thing and you're willing to give up future really outstanding out of conference games on the road for fans and at home for fans, I think you're doing the wrong thing for college football. And you're doing it for a reason that just ultimately to me doesn't make sense. Like, this team to me is not a team that can go make playoff noise. So if we have to miss the playoff because we freaking lost a game in week 1, even if that's the reason, which I 100% will vehemently say is not the reason we're not going to make the playoff this year. Even if we have to do that, like, that's cool with me because I love those games. I loved going to get to go Ohio State this year and experience that. I loved getting to go to Michigan last year and experience that. I loved going a couple years ago to Alabama and experiencing that. I want to experience Ohio State at home. I want to go back to Notre Dame, which I've already been to. I want to go do that again and with a chance to win instead of a chance to get our ass kicked. So those are things to me that are important as a college football fan. And then just go win the games you're supposed to win. And those losses don't matter. Nobody's punishing. If Texas doesn't lose to Florida, the committee is not going to punish them for losing that Ohio State game. If they don't lose to Florida, they're well into the top 10. And there's almost no chance, unless they blow it, which is in their control, not the committee's anymore.
Right.
There's no chance they're not getting into the playoff. That's my take.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, that's it. All right, Michelle, let's by the way, folks, you're watching us, jump in, give us your thoughts on this whole playoff mess. Right or wrong, it doesn't. I just want to hear your opinions.
Yeah.
What do you think? Was that Ohio State game a bad idea in hindsight? Does it really matter? Give us your thoughts. Now let's preview this Arkansas at Texas game, Michelle. We got Arkansas coming into Austin, number 17 Texas, 2:30 kick. The series, 57 wins for the Texas Longhorns, 23 wins for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Weather is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Partly sunny, 74 degrees, no rain in the forecast. Texas, an 8.5-point favorite. Talk to us high level, Michelle. What are your thoughts on this game headed in?
I don't feel very good about it. Like,
that's okay. Let's keep that going.
The only reason I don't feel good about it, the main reason is Anthony Hill is out.
Yes, that's a bad
broken hand. And the defense, there's something wrong with the communication. And, you know, I feel like we both felt good that when Michael Taft and Jelani McDonald and, you know, all the aces were back in the mix, it would be fixed, but it wasn't fixed. So I don't know what to think, because the defense had at least been our most consistent part of the team, and that part seems a little broken right now.
It seems broken, and the problem with that is you've got an Arkansas offense that averages almost 500 yards a game coming into the house. Yep. An Arkansas offense that's averaging that's averaging 34 points a game coming into the house this weekend. This is not an offense to be messed with. Let's just put it out there like that. This is a good offense. Arkansas as a whole, not a good football team. Mm-hmm. The offense is not the reason why this is not a good football team at all. So yeah, I think you look at sort of the regression for this defense, this Texas defense over the last few weeks. I think it's 100% fair to say during that Kentucky game and during that Mississippi State game, they played so many plays. Mm-hmm. They were going to give up a lot of yards. If you look at the average per plays, it wasn't bad in those games.
Right.
But you look at that Vandy game, especially that fourth quarter. You look at the fourth quarter of that Georgia game. 42 points in two games in a single quarter. That's by any measure possible, that's terrible. Yeah. That is not good at all, especially for a defense that, I touted them. I put them up on a pedestal. This is going to be a better defense this year than last year. Mm-hmm. I still think personnel-wise, it could have been. They just got no help from the offense most of the season. But right. you can't say in that Vandy game they got no help from the offense. You can't say in that Georgia game that they were behind and it just got away. Like, that was a close game.
Oh, yeah. I was so excited to see Arch get the ball back. You know what I mean? Because I felt like
you felt the momentum.
He was dealing. He was figuring it out.
Yes.
And the fact that, for like 18 minutes or whatever, by the time he got the ball back, the game was over. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
In terms of just the score and how much time was left.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to me, it just, I don't know if maybe the defense has just gotten so gassed from like the whole season. And we do have some younger players who it seems like they have put into really key positions in the secondary. I think Cade Phillips is a freshman. It seems like his snap count keeps increasing. And I'm not saying that like these guys are playing bad, but I just think that the communication, people don't know where they need to be. Like, everybody is trying really hard, but we're just, I don't know. I have no idea, but something is broken. And
a lot of it to me is just scheme. Like, Gunnar Stockton had an amazing game against Texas. There's no two ways about it. Yeah. He found open guys and he delivered footballs. A lot of those throws though, just completely easy. Like not even contested type of throws.
Yeah.
And if you give any Division I quarterback uncontested throws, and you got the type of athletes that they're getting the ball to, it's not going to be good for you.
Right.
And so to me, yeah, there's communication problems. There's I'm not lined up in the right spot problems. There's a lot of that, but there's also, hey man, let's just give them a 12-yard cushion problem.
Yeah.
You know, there's like, hey, I don't want this guy to beat me deep. So I'm going to back up off him. And then when the snap happens, I'm going to back up some more. And so all he's got to do is run 7 yards, turn around and catch an easy pass like he's playing in his backyard with his dad. There is a shit ton of that happening. And there's a lot of like, I'm just getting completely out coached by Mike Bobo. Like Mike Bobo just lined up in that game, especially late in that game.
Yeah.
And just did a numbers game on PK. It was just numbers. It was like, you can't cover everything I'm about to throw at you. And I know you can't, but I know this is how you're going to line up. And this is what I'm going to do. And so Gunnar Stockton got a lot of easy throws, and give him credit. He made them. He made them. I mean, they ran rollout like, oh, bootleg touchdown. You know, the last touchdown was just a high school play. They faked the run and he rolled out and walked into the end zone because there wasn't nobody out there.
Yeah.
And again, Mike Bobo just knows that. And it's not complicated. And this is like my whole heartache with like trying to make everything so complicated. Sometimes football doesn't have to be complicated. It's just, hey, let's get numbers and let's execute. And so and I think Kirby Smart is a guy that really lives that. And he's done it to Texas 3 times now, where he's just kind of said, hey, this might not be pretty right now, but at the end of this game, if we keep doing these things, we're going to make plays and we're going to win the game. And Saturday night was that 100%. It wasn't great for Georgia for most of that game, but they opened up an absolute can of whip ass in the fourth quarter, just doing the same type of shit that they'd done the whole game. Right. So I look at this Arkansas game, and I'm kind of like you, Michelle. Like I am not feeling great about this Arkansas game at all. The offense outstanding, the defense not great, but I think this and when I say not great, they're awful. They're like the Arkansas offense is fucking terrible, and that's why they're.
You mean Arkansas defense is terrible?
Yeah. Sorry, the Arkansas defense is terrible, and that's why they have a terrible record.
Yeah,
they can score points with anybody. They scored what 42 points against Texas A&M. Who I mean, Texas A&M may not be an elite defense, and I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying they may not be, but they're good. Like they got players on that defense. And Arkansas went up and down the field on them like constantly for 60 minutes. So like Texas fans that think this is just some pushover game, I don't think so at all. And while we're talking about that, let's talk about the keys, Michelle. Like what are your 3 keys for this Texas team Saturday?
So my 3 keys is I think that Arch Manning needs to really continue the momentum from just the past few games. Honestly, I think that this is a game where our offense is going to have to lead us to victory. I just don't, based off of the play that we've had the past few weeks, I just don't see us being like, lean on the defense in the run game. 1, we don't have a run game. 2, defense is very questionable. The most consistent player the past like
2 years,
the past like 10 quarters for us has been Arch Manning. And so we need to lean on him. He's the strength of the team. Some people are still not really willing to give him credit because maybe box scores don't show that, but he has been the most stable force of the team. So he's going to have to be the one that really like leads the way. I think it's going to be a huge leadership test for him because there are a lot of distractions going on in the background. So offense has really got to just like put the big boy pants on. This is your time. This is what your moment is. Key number 2, is just how can we stay mentally locked in on the defense when things are going away, because I think like getting away from us, because I think one of the issues that Sark has talked about in his past few press conferences is like when things go wrong, we just kind of let it spiral. And I feel like that's just what happened again last week in the fourth quarter, and it happened in the fourth quarter against Vanderbilt. I think that the defense needs to understand, like, they're going to give up some plays to this Arkansas team. They're a really good team, but you just can't let it get away from you. Like, you know, kind of what you were saying, just know your role and just keep doing your role, and, you know that you are as good, if not better, an athlete as their athletes. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to give yourself 20 yards of cushion. I'm sure you can hang with him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think defense just being like mentally composed, even when you give up points and things like that. And I think key number 3 is Sark. Lock them in. Look, this is a really, really big coaching test for him as a head coach at the University of Texas. I don't really want to know what that world is if we drop this game. I don't even want to know it, because a lot of people thought we would lose to Georgia, and all hell broke loose on Monday. Yeah. And that was something we all expected. Yeah. So I don't want to hear what a world is of us dropping this game, where we have on paper every reason to win this game. So I want to see Sark dialed in, have his leaders dial in, and I am excited to see what the first 2 drives look like. So those are my 3 keys, thoughts about the game.
Fair enough. And once again, 2 weeks in a row, we're wildly off on these, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. I think there's definitely more than 3 keys to any game.
For sure.
For me, like you mentioned it, the run game. Like people say we can't run the ball. I just go back to that first drive against Georgia. We ran the ball 6 times for 33 yards, which is 5.5 yards per carry. Texas ran the ball against Georgia when they decided to run the ball against Georgia. And then for whatever reason, they decided not to. My key number 1, run the fucking football. Like, this is an Arkansas team that gives up 181 yards per game on the ground. They're not good at stopping the run at all. There is no reason this Texas team should not be able to line up against this Arkansas team and run the football. And by the way, they should have been able to do it last year, and they did, until Sark decided they didn't want to run the football anymore. I just feel like one of Sark's biggest problems is he just does not value the running game whatsoever. He does not value how the running game fits in to winning SEC football games the way Kirby Smart does, the way Nick Saban used to do, the way they used to do it LSU before Brian Kelly got there. They just don't do it. It's not that they necessarily can't. And listen, I'm not saying they've been balls to the wall every single time they've tried to run the ball at Texas. Like, there's been some problems. There are still some problems. I don't think the running back room is all that great. I don't think the offensive line is as good as everybody thought it was going to be. There's problems, right? But I still think this team, if you just say, hey, I'm challenging you, we're going to go run the ball, and it's on y'all. I think they can do it, and I definitely think they can do it against this crappy-ass run defense from Arkansas. So run the ball. Keep Taylor Green off the field. Protect Arch. Protect the O-line in the passing game. I'm not saying run it 50 times and throw it 10. I'm saying, like, if it's working, let's keep doing it. Let's not back pocket it like we did against Georgia when it was clearly working. This Arkansas team, this defense, they're not amazing at rushing the passer, but they got 20 sacks. That's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
We don't want to get ourselves in a situation with Arkansas, with any team, where we're passing it so much that they know that's what we're doing, and guys are teeing off on us. Again, last week, this Georgia team, they had 11 sacks coming into that game. It's the second year in a row Texas has led a Georgia team that did not rush the passer that well absolutely get after the quarterback for Texas because they just would not do anything different than pass the ball. If I know what's coming, I'm better by a big percentage rushing the passer. They got to run the football. The other thing I think we've seen this Arkansas defense go to that 3-3-5 that TCU ran so much, the 3 high safeties, 3 down linemen. It's tailor-made to run at. Run at it. Take advantage of it.
We're not good at that one. We're not good at that
We're
one.
not good at it. You're right, because we refuse to do the thing that makes sense against it, which is run the ball. So to me, key number 1, 100%. Like, you want to prove to the whole college football world that you're tough and you got some balls and you deserve, if you can figure out a way to win this one and then go beat A&M to get into the playoff, go physically kick somebody's ass. And the way you do that to me is you just say, you know what, dude, I'm running the football. There's nothing you can do about it. Let's try that one time. That's my key number 1. Key number 2, I think we got to stop the run. Taylon Green, Mike Washington, that is a very dangerous combo in that Arkansas backfield. Mike Washington has almost 1,000 yards, I think. Taylon Green has almost 1,000 yards rushing the ball. Like, those dudes can move the football on the ground. Mm-hmm. This is an Arkansas offense that's 205 yards per game on the ground. If Texas can stop that and push the game to their favor, which is that pass rush, they're one of the best teams in the country rushing the passer. I think that's a good omen for Texas. If they cannot do that, it's bad for Texas. It's going to get dicey. So going along with that, like, this Arkansas offense has given up 24 sacks, but you got to get them out of the run game before you're going to start getting those sacks. They can't pass block, and they don't really want to. But you got to make them not run the ball. You got to make them pass block. You got to make them get into that passing game. So I think that's huge. Running the ball, stopping the run. The other thing I think about this Arkansas offense is they will do exactly what Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo did to Texas if they can. If they can run the ball and do those little dinky-ass high school passes into the flat to tight ends, they will do that shit all day long against PK. They got to stop the run. They have to stop the run. That's key number 2. Number 3 to me, win a fourth quarter. Like, it has been so long since this Texas team has won a fourth quarter. 2 games in a row, they've been blanked 21-0 in the fourth quarter. I feel like this is probably going to be a close game going into the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. You can't afford to go 3 games in a row where you get your ass stomped in the fourth quarter. And if it's close going into the fourth quarter, you're going to have to probably win the fourth quarter to win the game. So to me, that's pretty important. Like, let's do a fourth quarter. So those are my 3 keys. I think the big question, and I think we've both alluded to it, Michelle, is Texas on upset alert? I think by hearing you talk, you feel like 100% they are.
Yeah, I do. I mean, if I'm picking us to win, of course, but I'm going to pick us to win every week. But yeah, my red flags are raised.
There's a shit ton of them. Like, if your red flag upset alert alarms aren't ringing for this game, like, you don't have them. Mm-hmm. Listen, it's a rivalry game. Petrino's one of those dickhead coaches that would love nothing more to walk into Austin and come out with a win against one of the so-called greatest coaches in college football, in Steve Sarkisian. They're really, really good offensively. You got all these Sark distractions. You've got Texas's best defender who's going to be standing on the sidelines. Yep. You got the SEC title goal for Texas is gone. The college playoff goal, you could argue it's still there, but if it's there, it is like hanging by the shreddiest of shreds.
Right.
To me, can this team bounce back from really getting an ass kicking last weekend and having their season just kind of, and I know they all said the right stuff, like, oh, we still got, it's a 2-game. I get all like they're saying the right things, but deep down they know it's an uphill battle. Like if they win out, they still need a shit ton of help to get into the playoff. They all know that. So can they bounce back from that mental challenge? And then can Sark, to me, can he leave the ego in his office before he runs out onto the field? And can he commit to like doing what it's going to take to win this game?
Mm-hmm.
That's a long list of like sirens going off for Sean.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know if they can do all those things. So
right.
I don't think I've been more nervous about a game than maybe this game. And it's not because Arkansas is a great opponent. It's just because there's a lot of things piled up against Texas right now that make this one of those weird games.
Right. It's I feel like these guys, they're playing for their pride. And so we're about to see how much Texas pride do they really have. Yeah. Did Kirby Smart's comments in his presser that, teams play for a check?
Yeah.
Is that going to check out, or are you going to push back and say, no, F you, I'm playing?
We can be tough too. We can be physical too. Right. Yeah. No, I think you're 100% right, Michelle. So 100%, like no doubt, this is Texas is on upset alert. Mm-hmm. 1 billion. I mean, I didn't even add it in there, but you got the Texas A&M game next weekend. That's an even bigger rivalry game. Yeah. And everybody's been talking about since last year. There is a million reasons why Texas could walk into Darrell KR this Saturday and fall flat on their face and fucking wake up and be like, what the hell just happened? And Arkansas is walking out of there with a win. Yeah. Don't get it twisted, Texas fans. Saturday could end up easy, but it's not inherently easy.
Right.
If it is easy, it's because what you just said. Texas took a lot of this stuff to heart and said, we're not going to do that.
Right.
We're going to take back over our season. Whatever we control, we're going to take that back and control it. Prediction, Michelle, tell us, you kind of already alluded to, you're going to always pick Texas.
Yeah, I'm always going to be a homer, always going to pick
That's fair.
I just don't like to, I feel like for me, if I were to put the energy into the world, if I'm picking against us, I think it would do harm. So I'm going to pick us to win. Stick with it.
That's fair.
I think it's going to be pretty high scoring, though. I have it 38-32. We don't cover. And like you said, it kind of just comes down to the fourth quarter. But yeah, I mean, I am hoping that we can win, but it's not going to be easy. They're not going to hand it to us. They smell blood in the water. That's for sure. So
yes, there is a lot of blood in the water for sure. And Arkansas is the Sharks right now. Man, I love this Texas roster in this matchup. I think this Texas roster, top to bottom, and I've said this about every single game. There's not a better roster out there. Mm-hmm. I love that this game is at home for Texas. If this game was in Arkansas, I would be super down on this game.
Yeah.
I hate that this Texas defense has kind of regressed over the last few weeks and seemed to have just gotten to a point where they look more like the 2023 defense than they do that 2024 defense that was so good. Mm-hmm. I hate that this Texas offensive staff just continues to pile everything on top of Arch Manning's shoulders and these wide receiver shoulders, and just will not commit to running the football when it's clear that they can. They just don't value it, and I hate that. Michelle, the battle between my brain and my heart is leaning more towards my brain this week.
Yeah.
Than it did even last week when I picked Georgia to win that game. And my brain is 100% telling me Texas gets upset this weekend, Michelle. And either way, I think it's going to be super close, whether they win, lose. I think it's going to be a close game. I do not expect Texas to cover that 8.5 points.
Right.
But I'm going to go with my heart this weekend. I think.
Okay, we're back.
I don't know why. I've got no reason, no logical reason to feel like this Texas team wins this game, honestly, and I'm being 100% serious with this. But I'm going to go with my heart. I think Texas wins this one like 33-27. It's going to be close continuously. But I think going back to that pride factor you talked about, Michelle, I think this team, for better or worse, finds some kind of way to just play a game and rally around that pride, that Texas pride, and just like, we just don't want to lose, no matter what it means, really. We don't want to lose. I think they're going to rally around Coach Sark. I think they're going to rally around those position coaches. I think they're going to figure out a way to get it done. It's not going to be pretty. And it's certainly not going to be our moment where we go, yep, that's a playoff team. But it's going to be I think it's going to be a defining moment, possibly in the future for this Texas program. Maybe next year, probably not this year. But it's going to be one of those moments where you think like, man, I think you're going to be able to point to it and go, that team like really grew up that weekend and finally got it. And it was too late for them, but maybe it helps the program going forward. So that's my prediction. Texas 33-27. I hope my heart is right. My brain has never said more to me like there's no way Texas is winning this game than this weekend.
It's the most obvious upset alert game like in a while. You know what I mean? Like some games you're just like, oh yeah, that team's going to get upset. This is like screaming that.
Yeah.
I will say just like kind of my final thought is this team has been way different at home than on the road.
They have.
Way different. So I think, like you said, if this was in Arkansas, I mean, it's a wrap, but it's at home. It's at home. We have been a lot better at home. Maybe not perfect, but like we said, we haven't been perfect at any game. So I think we stand much better chance just being at DKR. The Mississippi State game, there was all the whispers and everything. And Sark, like that was a huge comeback and, you know, he called it a culture win. I think this will be a similar thing of like, can he rally the troops, you know, one more time to go 1-0 this week? And I'm really hopeful he can. So,
yeah, I'm hopeful. I think they can, like they're certainly capable. To me, it just boils down to like how you approach the game from a game plan perspective. If Texas just shit cans the run again, this one's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to win. Sure. But I think they can control the game by running the ball because this Arkansas team is not good at stopping the run. And so to me, it's pretty clear like what you need to do to go like take control of the game. And then you get to blow it out later when they're tired of tackling people. Right. They're worn the hell out. Like, you know, I don't know, man. I love Sark. I want nothing but the best for Sark, but sometimes to me he's just so frustrating. And maybe that's just because I grew up in a different time. I didn't grow up in a different time. We're the same age basically. But he played at BYU where they threw the ball like 60 times a game. And I played at freaking Mount Pleasant High School where we ran the ball like 60 times a game and never threw it. So it's just I don't know. Me and Sark can never be friends. Because he doesn't want to run the football, and I love a team that'll just come in and run the football. That's the show for tonight, folks. Check out the socials. Go follow Michelle over at Michelle Lynn with 3 N's 94 on Twitter. Great follow. I will be here Sunday to talk about the 10 thoughts for this game. Michelle, I know you guys are going to the game. If you can make it to 10 thoughts, make it. If you can't, I completely understand. We'll have 10 thoughts anyway. Hopefully they're all 10 good thoughts.
Hope so.
And then thanks everybody for watching tonight. Thanks, Michelle, for being here. I sure appreciate it.
Yep.
You guys have a good night. Let's go get the pigs, man. We hate those pigs. We don't need those pigs winning games in Austin. You guys get hooked.
Hook 'em.